TKO might be making more money, but Kevin Nash is making less. And that don't work for me, brother. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. And despite TKO being greedy, despite TKO overcharging for tickets, overcharging for meet and greets, overcharging for every single thing they can possibly charge for, every penny, every dollar, every cent, every peso, whatever currency, euro we're going by here, TKO, they're doing their best to extract every little dime out of the paying customer, but now they're paying the legends even less, as Kevin Nash says he's unhappy with his latest WWE royalty check, and he claims that it has been cut in half since the takeover of TKO.
It would be very easy for me to go in on TKO, which we will very soon, but how about, right, we look at Vince and Kennedy McMahon. What a legend, the GOAT. This is a guy that knew how to take care of people. People pretend that all he cared about was the money. He made sure that everybody who did him a turn over the years, everyone that made him a dime, a dollar, he took care of them into later life. This legend contracts concept is all McMahon's idea, and he took care of it. And now we're seeing TKO come in and just rip the very beings of WWE out from within. It's a disgrace that they're actually taking half the money away, and this is just one guy. We're seeing record profits, and now we're beginning to see why. They're charging you $10,000 for a seat, $40,000 for a seat at Mania, and now they're beginning... I mean, if you take half the money away for every legend that's got a Legends contract, that's a lot of money. And now they're boosting profits. Triple H coming out there with his big nose, I'm the game. It makes me sick that Triple H is doing this to our business that we love.
Well, you're not the only one feeling sick. One man feeling sick right now is none other than Big Daddy Cool Diesel. It's Kevin Nash on his latest edition of the Click This podcast. He spoke to Sean X-Pac Waltman, and he talked about their royalty checks and how they have shrunk in recent months. And he said that the latest payout came as a major surprise, and not in a good way. And that means that Kevin Nash's bank balance has been hit. So this is what Kevin Nash had to say on Click this week. He said, quote, I was talking to Mr. Waltman this week. We had our weekly update. We both got our royalty checks, and I called him. He's laughing on the other end of the phone and says, obviously, you got your royalty check. I said, holy fuck. After the last one was good, this one was rotten. It was half. But hey, what are you going to do? End of quote. I don't know, Kevin Nash, what are you going to do? Well, the first thing he did was go on his podcast and rip TKO, blame TKO, talk about his latest royalty check and how it's been cut in half. So, I mean, I guess he could voice his opinion, but why not actually, I don't know, call up Triple H, his little buddy, Paul Levesque, call up Triple H and see if that big nose can sniff out the other half of his royalty check. Maybe that would be a good idea for Kevin Nash. But what I would say is, if Kevin Nash, if he is experiencing poor royalty checks, then what about everyone else? Because I would imagine out of people that get royalty checks, Kevin Nash has to be pretty high up the list in terms of who makes the most money from these royalty checks. Guy's had a good career, obviously in the NWO. Pretty sure he bought Scott Hall's 3rd% of the NWO as well. So he gets like 2/3 of the NWO merchandise revenue. So Kevin Nash is doing alright for himself. I would imagine out of royalty checks, he must be in that very, very high percentage, that top percent. Speaking of top percent, didn't this guy come out a few months ago and claim how he hated white people that were in like the top 1%? So maybe Nash should be happy that his royalty checks have been cut, because now he's not going to be in the top 1%, top 2%, top 3% of people on the planet. So if Kevin Nash wants to bash rich people, then perhaps him not being so rich is a good thing.
He didn't want to bash rich people. He wanted to bash white rich people, man.
Yeah, no, I said that.
Yeah, well, you said rich people, so...
I said white people like 30 seconds ago.
Oh, well, we need to clear that up here. It's white rich people, alright? Kevin Nash, libtard. But I'm not forgetting what he did for the business. But see, Triple H, he has to take the brunt of this. See, TKO, let's not...
Does he, though?
I think he does.
How?
Because see, if McMahon was still in... He wouldn't let this slide. He wouldn't be like, nah, let's dish out half of these guys' contracts, see the other half, the profits. But are we surprised? TKO's $6 billion in debt. How are they going to pay that back? Why do you think the ticket prices are at $10,000? Why do we believe that SummerSlam Mania $40,000, $60,000, man? Record gates.
This partnership's going to kill WWE. TKO's going to take WWE down with it.
You've got TKO, right? That is done in debt, right? $6 billion. Then you've got AEW that doesn't have any debt.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean...
No, they've got unlimited money. They have money to burn through. TKO is burning through everyone else's money so they get their profits up.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, you know what? At least, Tony Khan's spending a lot of money, wasting a lot of money, but at least he's wasting his own money.
I would be very intrigued to see what TKO's numbers are looking like financially since they acquired WWE. Because with the amount of money that they are making through ticket sales, shit like this, obviously the ticket sales what's making the brunt of the money. It's not going to be the loyalty checks unless, well, here, we don't know how much they're making. I doubt Kevin Nash is walking away with like 20 million here in royalty checks. That's not going to be the case, but every little helps TKO. And there's a lot of legends under the Legends contract. But again, you're right, he's got to ring up Triple H. Like, what's happening here, Hunter?
Well, you keep saying Legends contract. It's not necessarily anything to do with it. It's royalty checks. You can still get a royalty check and not have a Legends deal.
It's not a Legends contract, royalty contract, but it's loads of people are going to have royalties.
Yeah, but like,
if you have everybody's, that's a lot of money.
I'm sure Stevie Richards gets royalty checks.
See, that's the thing, right?
And he's not under a Legends deal.
See, from a TKO perspective, right, it's actually a good business module. I can't dispute that. But that's where people need to actually put praise on the guy I put on earlier, Vince McMahon. He didn't actually care about the money overly that much. He actually thought about giving back to the guys that gave to him. TKO don't care. They've got no loyalty. And we know this. But some people are brain dead and don't understand that. So you can bash TKO as much as you want. But at the same time, why would they...
Why would they have... I mean, if you look at it from this perspective, why would TKO have loyalty to guys that did business for WWE 30 years ago when TKO only bought it in like 2023?
Well, they shouldn't, but I guess you could see... That's
2024,
that's where you're right, because McMahon's going to have loyalty for the guys.
Here we go. Whoa, Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad, since Vince Russo likes to talk about good shows, Walter White didn't want to pay out money to Mike's guys. Mike thought Walter White was an arsehole. I actually thought Walter White had a case. Legacy cost. Well, hold on. These are Mike's guys. Mike's guys have done nothing for Walter White. And Walter White's supposed to get...
No, but they have, though. Walter was bang at the order there.
What? Was he?
He doesn't get his money without Mike's guys, without the system in place.
What do you mean he doesn't get his fucking money? No, Mike's guys were in prison. They were doing fuck all. Hold on. Mike was taking like 43% of the cook just to keep some guys that were locked up quiet.
So you just killed them all then?
That's what Walter White did.
Well, I know, but that's what we're advocating then.
I'm not saying kill anybody. I'm not saying TKO should go and kill Kevin Nash. Absolutely not. But I can certainly see why Walter White was like, oh, hold on here. Why am I paying 33% to guys that I've never even met and they don't do nothing for me? You're making it sound like these guys were the ones moving the...
Yes, but he was bitching about everybody. It wasn't just the legacy guys.
No, I think Walter White has to accept that they're the transport guys, people that get the blue...
his face when each stack of cash was getting took off.
So hold on, you think Walter White expected like people just to take time out of their day to transport the blue meth with all that risk just for nothing? Out the goodness of the heart?
Mike Armitrot was right, man.
Was he?
Aye.
Legacy cost?
We're a good thing, you son of a bitch.
Legacy cost?
No, see McMahon, Mike Armitrot's McMahon and Walter White's Triple H. We're a good thing, you son of a bitch. You had to think about you and your ego. And
your fucking big nose.
Anyway. You can't.
Kevin Nash went on to say that the level of transparency is gone. He said, quote, "It used to list what you sold, shirts, DVDs, whatever. Now it's just this vague NWO property thing. You can't tell what's what anymore, end of quote. So, instead of an actual breakdown of the entirety of merchandise and whatnot that Kevin Nash now has sold and the money that he's made, it pretty much just says, NWO and then money. And I guess if he sells a Kevin Nash shirt, I'll just say Big Daddy Cool Diesel. I think that's another way that they can rip you off.
Actually, you don't know what you're getting.
By not giving you, it's like if you work a job and you get you get your
pay slip, but it doesn't show you what your hours are or any bonus.
Yeah,
this lump sum.
Yeah, this would be like saying, your work for the week or whatever. No, I mean you're supposed to have your hour, how many hours you worked, and then any bonuses, and then any sort of extended hours, holiday pay. Shit like that. You should get a breakdown of each payment that you're going to receive, and then obviously any deductments like tax or national insurance or anything like that.
Tell you what, Kevin Nash has nearly had as many quads as you said, and then there.
Did he? Aye. Right, well,
that's insane, right? Need to wrap that in the head. Come on, guys, we're putting on a good show here. This guy's saying and then. And then, I'm dead. Fact is...
Yeah. No, there's a time to say it, and that was the time.
Well, how about this for time? I believe over the next couple of years, TKO will completely do away with royalties.
Can they do that?
I believe it's a contract. So, the contracts always come to an end. Wrestling is unique in that, isn't it though? Because... you don't really recall too many things. Like, music kind of exists like that, where each time a song gets played, someone might get paid, but it's a weird... McMahon set it up perfectly to take care of guys.
Yeah.
He did.
Then Nash...
they'll want to take that away. If they're willing to half it, you can bet your bottom dollar they're willing to take it all away.
Yeah, he then spoke about WWE's going into partnership with Fanatics, which took over WWE's merchandise operations as part of the shift. Nash said, quote, "Things got weird after Fanatics came in. Yeah, it got weird when they sold to TKO. So this is where TKO's weirdness starts because they, cut things." End of quote. And then he went to talk about how basically TKO's doing great. TKO is reporting strong quarterly revenue. WWE's doing great. Everyone's making money when it comes to the higher-ups, but he says that the people further down the ladder, they're not seeing the gains. They're not seeing the money reflected in their salaries, in their payments, in their checks. So Nash, not happy with how things are going on. And I'm not surprised, because Nash has always been a money guy. I think Nash would trade world titles for an extra zero in his bank account.
Of course he would.
To be fair, most normal people would.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Apart from the 400,000 champion, Bret Hart.
Bret Hart wouldn't, but it's just a bit of gold at the end of the day. And we've seen in the past that Nash and Hall didn't give two shits about the belts as long as they were getting paid more. And that is. I mean, it's weird, right? Your legacy to the fans is your belts, but your legacy to yourself is what you earned. And that's what Nash cares about at the end of the day.
Yeah, true.
And I think we can clearly see over the years, Kevin Nash... I'm not saying Nash and Hall don't value the fans' opinion of them, but at the end of the day, most people value their bank account above that.
Yeah, if you get into your 60s and your body's tired and broken down and you can't really work a physical job, I mean, what's gonna give you more reassurance? Looking in your bank account and seeing at minimum 7 figures, or perhaps looking in your bank account and seeing that you're overdrawn and you need to go and borrow a tenner off somebody, but you sit there going, well, I used to be a champion 35 years ago. I mean, nobody really cares about that.
No.
Now, what I could argue is if you're a champion, then probably you should be financially well off. If you made it to that level. If you made it to world championship level, then you probably should be rich as well.
No, you should be, but...
unless you've badly mismanaged your money.
Ric Flair.
Woo!